No, I was invisible. Like if you would check the records, they called me the comedian because I was so invisible. I mean, I would hang out in the streets.
I was in Los Angeles. I interviewed an informant who gave us a description of some violent activity transpiring in Detroit, and some of the intelligence that we were picking up on indicated many drug organizations operating in Detroit, and that there was a mafia operating in Detroit, what they call a Black Mafia.
The people standing on the corner or even the middlemen, they would have seen you in the store. They would have known who you were, right? Did people know who you were?
No, I didn't hang out like that. We always stayed to ourselves and partied.
Like I said, we had a big family. If we wanted to party, we party among ourselves.
Like my brother said, we'll party among ourselves.
Among the family?
Among the family, absolutely. That's ourselves. We'll hang like that. We didn't go out and hang in bars, you know what I mean, or go to a lot of events that would be with the public.
And when I wanted to party, I used to go out of town. Every 4 months, I would roll like 4 months and stop like 2 or 3 months, because my stuff was so powerful till I would shut it down, and couldn't nobody do nothing until after we was out. So I wasn't a greedy guy. I never been a greedy guy. So I would I would leave and let other guys make money.
Period of time did kind of Doc go from starting to being a big deal, like a year fast, right?
Wow, you know how hyper he is. I mean, Jesus, it didn't take him no time to, go from selling dime bags to getting, I mean, anywhere he go, it relates to a connect, he normally is going to take over. And for some reason, they're going to like him and show him more than they'll show a normal person that they might be dealing with. And he been all over. I remember me and him was down with Nicky Bonds and them down in New York.
And then I had New York. I had the spin-off from Nicky Bond crew. Guys used to work for Nicky Bond.
Like who? Like Guy Fisher?
No, not Guy Fisher. No.
He's somebody else.
You're somebody else. I don't like Meech. Yeah, this guy's famous. He used to do a lot.
Oh.
He used to win $300,000 or $400,000 at a time because he keep $1,000 a day on this number, on this one number, and the mob would pay him, so he was connected, But that's one of the spin-off from Nicky Bond.
I was down there and it was, Fat Cat, and I remember going to his place.
To whose place?
Fat Cat.
Lorenzo Nichols?
Yeah, his wife
like
Edith.
81 or something? The guy that was.
I said Fat Cat. His wife was named Edith.
So you were supplying
New York, Philly, North Carolina, and it was another city, San Francisco.
But you surpassed. I mean, you would say you guys got bigger than Nicky Barnes at your peak.
Well, I mean, if we were going through different countries, continents, and getting stuff, yeah, of course,
We put it on the streets here, Philly, Charlotte, Greenville. We got a lot of money out of Greenville. A lot of money. I had the Muslim mob out of Philly. They was copping a lot. No, not the Philly Black Mafia. No, it was the Fruits of Islam and all them. It was the...
They were copping from you?
Right. At one time, they was coming from me, from Philly. In fact, the Philly guys was one-on-one. Sometimes would take my family when I was on the run up to Ann Arbor for me to see them. One of the Muslim was my best friend. Years, I doubt if he alive.
Was that like Sam Christian or Ron?
No, it was that group. He was in that group.
Okay. Somebody.
But I didn't want to mention no names,
yeah.
though. I don't know.
Yeah.
But he was in that group.
So now let's go. Let's go all the way back. Let's go back to Doc told us. It seems like he's the first one who got involved, and he says inspired by your uncles, and he had a scholarship to college at 16 and etc. So, and you came in a little later. Tell us about how you
got involved, or how I was introduced.
Yep.
I was introduced. I was working in the auto plant, in the auto factory, Wood'll Run division, and one day, someone in the family asked me to help Doc. Doc needed help. So I left my job in the factory to go help Doc. And that's how I got introduced.
What level was Doc at that point?
Well,
I mean, was he big? Was he medium?
he was big because he was on Jada and Erskine, where
How old was he?
he was almost running that place there. I mean, he was breaking in huge amount.
How old do you think he was at that point? How old were you?
How was I? Come on.
19,
About 19, 20,
and
19
he
or
was
20.
21 or
He was about 21, something like
so
that.
he already had bought that house on Baltimore.
Yeah, the lawyer's house. Yeah, he had brought the.
So he
yeah,
was moving on a big scale already.
yeah.
But that was tied in with your uncles. I mean, the reason Doc was able to get in, I mean, obviously he's intelligent, all that, but also the uncles.
Well, my uncles influenced him. He was influenced, should I say, by my uncle.
Did your uncle's looming presence of danger cast a umbrella of protection over you guys to some degree?
Well, yes, yes.
Your uncles were
Their reputation is,
dangerous.
yeah,
And those were your mother's brothers.
right.
How did, now your father was a very successful guy legally.
Well, my father was he was a working man. He was,
but a great interior director of Ford.
He was the interior and exterior decorator for Ford headquarters in Dearborn.
Tell us about your dad.
Well, like I say, he was mostly a quiet guy, but he would work. He had a nice job. He had nice job. He had a good job.
How did he get? I mean, that's
Well,
quite a rare job.
Well, he's a hard worker. He's a hard worker.
And smart.
And he's smart. He's a hustler. And then he has his own company on the side, so we were able to afford a home like this.
Okay. So, and I don't know why we didn't, I say it like this, I don't know why we didn't take after him instead of going to the other way.
Dark side. What was the relationship? What did your father, because those weren't his brothers, those were his brothers-in-law.
In-law, yeah.
What was the relationship with your father and those street uncles?
Well, it was more so my mother who had more knowledge than my father. He didn't have too much knowledge of what
Or was that willful?
He might have, you know what I mean, he might suspect it of something.
Yeah, like how does he think his 19-year-old son buys a mansion?
Well, if you notice what he said earlier, he disappeared for a while. He stayed away because my father wasn't going to tolerate that.
Yeah.
By no means. You know, so we were sneaking around doing stuff.
At a big level.
Yeah, in a
You
big
weren't
level.
just sneaking out going to the school dance. You were
Yeah.
moving on a big level.
And so you grew up seeing your dad run his own business and work and do other things on the side.
Right.
And so he was the good influence on you. And then your uncles who were the big street guys, was that on your mother's side or your dad's side?
My mother's side.
So your mother's brothers were in the street?
Yes.
What was the relationship between your dad and her brothers?
Very good relationship.
Did he ever feel like they were steering his son?
Yeah, at one time, yes, at one time.
That's
What
true.
what was there a reckoning when when it all kind of came out like, hey, wait a second, my sons are like big heroin dealers. Like what was there a reckoning between you and him? Or?
No, I guess he just, you know, kept a,
Poker face?
right, more of a poker face than to say anything, or, you know, because it's too late then. We was already too big.
But, you know, he come to accept it because he knew that, you know, we weren't going to stop. So he accepted.
So you were going to Sinaloa, Culiacan. Culiacan is the city where El Chapo's son, they just tried to take him into custody.
Right.
You were going there in the early 70s.
Right.
And getting Mexican heroin
Right,
directly
right.
from a Mexican federale.
Right. Yep. Then I would bring it back here and sell it, you know. And then eventually I became so big, my uncle and them started copying from me. This was, I think, that why they put me on the top 10 of North America. It was coming from Bangkok.
And you were moving it through Africa?
No, I was moving it through Africa and Jamaica. And then sometime I get stuff directly out of Pakistan.
How how are you meeting, you know?
I'm gonna tell you how I met the Thai cadet. I got to think, my father taught us when we was very young fishing, and I love fishing. So I went from fishing in the river to sports fishing, fishing for marlin and sailfish and like that. So one time I was in Bahamas. The Bahamas have a tournament for marlin. Whoever catch the biggest marlin win $300,000. So when I get in, when I used to go, I used to rent the villa. Once I rent the villa, I go to the fishing port, and I would pick a boat. And then my favorite boat was the Hatteras sports fishing boat with the tuna tower. So I would pick the boat, and so usually they take groups. I didn't want to take the group. It was like a 40, maybe it was a 40-some foot Hatteras sports fishing boat. I hired the whole boat. So when I went there, the same guy was trying to rent the boat for him and his wife, and he happened to be a Thai. So what I told him, I said, well, why don't we just share it? So me and my wife and me and him, we shared it, and so we became friends. Once we became friends,
Hey, what are you doing for a living?
right? Then that's how it started, and then he was the man in Bangkok.
Was he connected with the government, probably?
Yeah, he was government connected.